You're listening to the Dare to Be Different podcast, a podcast for people who want to live an extraordinary life. On this week's episode, Joe and Alisha talk about how everyday decisions could have a major impact on your life. Enjoy.
Are you struggling to stay healthy even though you know it is the best thing for you?
Yes.
Well, yes. Well, if that is you, this is the podcast that you want to listen to today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Dare to Be Different podcast. My name is Joe Altieri, and I'm here with my lovely, as always, and healthy wife, Alisha.
I don't know about the healthy part, but sure.
Well, we're going to get you healthy today.
Try
I feel
to be
it.
lovely.
You are always lovely.
Battling to be lovely.
The Dare to Be Different podcast is all about living an extraordinary life. And we use 5 words: honest, passionate, adventurous, grateful, and healthy to describe that extraordinary life. And today we are going to talk about being healthy. So let's talk about me, what I've gone through over the last month. It has been an ugly, ugly time. The dark days of Joe Altieri's life over the past month.
You knocked on death's door for a couple of weeks.
So for those of you that don't know, I went down hard with kidney stones. So it took about 3 weeks, bottles and bottles of very high pain killers, pretty much 3 weeks lost of my life, 3 surgeries to get back to normal. It was a miserable time.
It sure was.
I
know what else
I meant
to
for
say.
me.
Yes, that's what I was saying too.
But it was, I mean, it was one of those experiences that it was so bad that I didn't think that I was coming out of it. Like, it had gotten to the point where it was so much pain and it was just so much lost life that I didn't think I was coming out of it. What was it like for you, dear?
Well, you're a very good patient.
I am.
It was a joy for me to be there for you during this time.
Yes. I am not sure. Nicholas, can I put like a little sarcasm
Yeah, I don't
thing
know.
up
I don't
on the
know.
screen
It
there?
was not fun. I mean, besides you being miserable, and there's nothing anybody can do to make it. Well, I mean, I'm sure the doctors.
And when you
could
say
have handled
miserable, it
better.
wasn't that I was being mean to people. I was miserable in
Well,
pain.
I mean, there were times when you were mean. I mean, let's not sugarcoat it and make you out to be some angelic being during this. Like, nobody is. Like, it was terrible. You were in the worst pain you had ever been in your life with no relief for weeks on end. So that's not something that you expect somebody to, come out straightening and shining their halo through.
By the way, before you continue, I would like to point out how my wife went all mama bear on the doctor on a Sunday morning. I had a surgery. My first surgery was on Thursday. I came out of the bathroom and collapsed on the floor because I was just in so much pain. She got a hold of the doctor and went ballistic on the doctor.
Whatever, you do what you got to do. There's some not finer moments in life, but there's times when you don't have to be the finer person. So
No, that is definitely a memory that will be ingrained in my head for a while.
I don't know. I must have blurred through it because I don't remember it being that terrible. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody goes through something like that and is, wonderful and happy and joyous. It's terrible. You're in horrible pain, but for everybody around, like for me anyway, it's, you feel like handcuffed, because there's nothing I can do to alleviate it for you. And it just seemed like we were not getting, having much success with, communicating with the doctors what was actually going on, nor was it a speedy process, and nor did they seem to care, so that was the frustration for, me anyway, not being able to do anything to help you.
Yeah, three surgeries, and pretty much the doctor's answer was take more drugs more often.
Yeah, I'll just prescribe this other thing. So how's he doing? I'm like, he's been in bed for 3 weeks. Like, he doesn't do this. Like you can't expect someone to spend 3 weeks in terrible, immense pain in bed and that just be the answer. Here's more pain medication. Like, we need an end.
It was rough.
Yeah.
But during that time, there was a point where, and again, whether this was the drugs, my frustration, the pain, whatever, I just said, people that go through something like this at the end of their life, like whether it's a cancer thing or something like that, and actually decide to end it early, I completely understood. And again, I don't want to get into that whole topic of all of that stuff, but it was just this point where you're just like, this is so bad that I will do anything for it to not continue.
Right.
It was that type of thing. And again, I've never been, apparently my body is special, rejected a bunch of stuff that the doctors tried. But anyway, whatever. But what I got out of that was, I don't want to ever feel that way again. And I feel that we as a society are setting ourselves up individually to have a really high likelihood of the end of our lives, or maybe not the end of our lives, but at some point in our lives, getting to that point because we're so unhealthy. And again, maybe it's not that bad, but what I came to the conclusion of is that health is it is the most important thing in the world. It really is, because during that time, I hate to say it like this, but the grandkids would come over, and it was so hard to have any sort of joy. They're like one of the things that I light up when the kids are around. But it was so hard to you couldn't play with them, you couldn't do anything like that. I get a lot of satisfaction from my work, and I was struggling to do that. I went on one day trip, and I almost passed out in the middle of the demonstration. Luckily I had somebody driving me out there, and so, work was miserable. Our relationship was, of course it suffered. I was a lump for quite a while. So, your health is paramount to everything else that we talk about as far as having an extraordinary life. But it seems to be the thing that we most easily give up, that we're just like, maybe tomorrow. Maybe I'll start eating better tomorrow. Maybe I'll start exercising tomorrow. What are your thoughts?
It's true. I mean, it's, how do I focus on positive things to have a better life? And how do I, work harder, or, switch careers, or, do something more satisfying, or focus on my relationships, or, get outside more, or, whatever it is. But the health aspect of it, it's not, if you have to change, eating that delicious Whopper or whatever every day, it's not fun. Not that Whoppers are delicious,
No,
but
I'm a McDonald's guy.
I don't know.
I'm I'm two
The
cheeseburgers versus Whoppers.
head.
But anyway.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you if I've ever had a Whopper. But anyway, it's a sacrifice, and it's a you give up something that gives you the temporary satisfaction of tasting good, but it's ultimately terrible for you.
Right.
And there are plenty of things that are good to eat. They might just take more prep and not be as easy to do, so it's ease, and it's also, greasy stuff tastes good, even though you feel horrible after you eat it most times, but that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. I mean, how many people in the middle of a heart attack, clutching their chests, soiling themselves, which is what I hear happens when you have a heart attack, you know what I mean?
I hope I'm never to find out.
But clutching their chests, having a heart attack, wondering if they're going to die, wouldn't go back and uneat all of those Whoppers or Big Macs and all those things, those fries. But here we are with the opportunity to literally never have that happen if we simply change our lifestyle a little bit.
Right.
And so...
and not that it's a foolproof guarantee that,
it's the higher likelihood.
Right.
If you have a sedentary lifestyle, if you're not exercising, if you're not eating right, the likelihood of you having heart issues, cancers, all of those types of things goes up dramatically.
Right.
So, but yeah, like I said, it was just an eye-opening experience that honestly, I hope that I don't forget. And it's probably good timing as we're in our 40s, kind of looking at the second half of our life, last third of our life, however you want to look at it here. But it was so eye-opening that I'm like, man, this is change time. I mean, we've always been relatively healthy, but I'm like, it's not enough. I want to make sure that I'm feeling good at 50, 60, 70, who knows how long after that, so I'm going to do everything that I can now, because the changes are relatively small. I mean, I made a commitment that I'm going to exercise every day, at least for 21 days. So after I felt better, the Monday after I felt better, I was like, this is it. For 21 days, it's a habit. I'm going to exercise every single day. And I'm a little over 2 weeks into that. And I've done it, either gone to the gym, but we're talking about half an hour. It's not a huge commitment.
Right.
It's just going out and doing it. Either hitting the gym or yesterday I went just for a walk around the school and jogged a little bit, just to get the heart rate up. But it's a half an hour. But what a difference that makes. Like, I feel better and all those types of things. But bigger picture, I'm setting future Joe up for a healthy life instead of the temporary, that Whopper is really good.
Right.
So I have some things. So today isn't about what to do. I think everybody knows what to do. I mean, again, pick an exercise, go out and do it.
Butt.
Get off your butt, take a walk the dogs. Yes, don't stop the excuses, all of those types of things. Just do something. Exercise a little bit and then a little bit more every day. But then also, eat better, make better choices as far as your diet goes and things like that. Get some books. There's tons of resources out there about living a healthier life. But today I want to talk about why it is important. And we're going to talk about today stuff, because we talked about the long-term stuff. We're going to talk about today stuff, things that exercise and better health choices will do for you. So the first is it helps you live longer. All right. Pretty obvious. I mean, it's the studies are out there. You live, anywhere from 7 to 15 years longer if you have a healthy lifestyle. Like, that's huge. Like,
that's a long time.
It's a long time. Again, I'm thinking of people, in their 60s that they would trade anything for an extra couple years. But it's too late. It's way too late. So, for me, I'm just thinking about all of the things that I want to enjoy as far as my golden years, retirement and traveling and grandkids and great grandkids and all that stuff. And I want to keep that in front of me because I want to live long enough to see those things. We might live long enough to come out of this freaking coronavirus COVID mask thing that we have going on. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, let's not go there.
So, any comments on living better? I mean, I assume you want to stick around. I mean, I'm such a joy to live with. We want to make that last, right?
Let's just do everything we can do to avoid you laying in bed for 3 weeks.
There you
Plus.
go. So the second reason you should do this is that it makes you feel better. So this is like physically feeling better. Like when you exercise and you eat better, you feel better. It's just that simple. There's the runner's high that people talk about. There's the endorphins that get put into your body. But then there's just also when you change your diet a little bit. You mentioned it before. Fast food. I love 2 cheeseburgers and fries from McDonald's.
Ugh.
It's like twice a year though that I can eat it because I feel it's such a temporary. Like, this is so good. I'm gonna pay for it so much in a half an hour.
Yeah, your stomach hurts so bad.
Yeah. But I mean, I assume you see this the same thing. I mean, you have when you exercise and eat better. I mean, I assume that you feel.
Oh yeah,
better.
you feel better. Your self-confidence is up. Like you just feel altogether, better. And like you find yourself saying, why do I not just keep doing this? And then like, I don't know, winter months hit and it's hard to get outside or do the things that you love. And you find yourself back not doing anything. And it's like, just remember how good I felt. I got to, start this again.
Yep.
So it is a struggle, and it's, an understandable struggle because, neither you or I are perfect at this, or
no,
so
absolutely not. No, I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to everybody else out there.
It's not do what we do, because don't do that, because we're not year after year, we're not flying colors and passing this. So it's a constant battle to make it a priority.
Yep. So the next reason is that it saves you money. Eating healthy, exercising actually saves you money. First of all, there's lower medical costs. Again, it's pretty obvious. Even if you have medical insurance, there's still costs associated with an unhealthy lifestyle. So, whether that's medications you have to take, that you have to pay a certain amount, or time off of work, or whatever the case may be, your lower medical costs, it actually will save you money. And then you also have life insurance is cheaper. We have our life insurance is coming up for renewal here in the next year. If my blood pressure is through the roof, our life insurance goes way up. If you're healthy, your life insurance goes down dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, some costs go down, but also the reality of fresh produce and fruit and vegetables, it is more expensive than the, bag of Doritos or whatever it is, that you could buy that are, is worse for you. But in the long run, it's worth paying more for, a fresh pineapple or whatever it is. But also, go to Aldi's because, I love my Aldi. But, you're not going to save money in the, Whole Foods Giant Eagle produce section. But at the same time, there are ways to, the food costs and stuff, unfortunately, are more expensive for the healthier, cleaner foods. But what's it worth to you?
It's interesting that you bring that up because there's actually some studies out there that say once you break yourself of the habit of the cheap foods because of the high processed foods and the sugars and stuff like that, they actually make you want to eat more. So you eat your bag of Doritos, which is cheaper than the pineapple, right? But then your body, as soon as all of that wears off, it wants to eat more, where the fresher fruits don't have that. So you don't necessarily fall into that trap of, sugar high, or McDonald's high, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Now I need to eat more very quickly, you know what I mean, to kind of get that back. You almost have this addiction to the high processed oils and sugars and things like that.
Yeah. And it makes you feel better when you eat the fresh stuff.
So exercising and, eating healthy and all this stuff helps you control your stress. Again, stress is a huge, huge problem in the world. And it's not just right now with all the stuff that's going on with the pandemic. This has been coming, for years and years and years. The stress level from everywhere from kids in school, up through, adults at their careers, stress has gone up. It's kind of a pandemic of its own, where stress and stress related illnesses are showing up more and more. And exercise and eating healthy actually combats it. So cortisol that gets put into your bloodstream as you exercise actually helps you relieve stress.
Oh, that would be amazing if it, if it actually does, to see those effects. And I don't know. I always feel like if I'm super stressed, intense, I'm going for a walk. I'm taking the dogs and I'm leaving, and I'll come back whenever I feel, and recently it's been, more stressful times. Of course, there's more going on in everybody's life with, like you mentioned, the pandemic and all the chaos that it, has brought to everybody's life. And the one day I just threw them in the car. I got out on a walking trail and I'm like, I'm not turning around until I feel better. And I just kept going. And it was
3 days later, she came home.
it was an awful long walk. And by the time I turned around, I was like, wow, I was really stressed out because this is a long walk back to the car. But, it just is. It makes you feel better. Get out there and just I don't know, something disappears in the walk, So it's, I don't know, the fresh air studies and all the stuff in the fresh air and, versus office air and inside air is, those are there as well. So, it does legitimately make you feel better.
Yeah, it's interesting because you have, of course, we've been married a very long time, and you can see when I start getting stressed and you're like, hey, why don't you go take your bike out into the woods and go for a ride? Or, hey, why don't you go do this?
Don't turn around.
Yeah, just keep going until you're exhausted. Either your stress will be gone or you'll fall asleep when you get home. Either way, it's
good. It's good for you, good for me.
Yeah,
no.
But it does. It controls your stress. Next thing is it helps you avoid addictions or get rid of addictions. Again, lots of addictions out there, drugs, alcohol, smoking, food is an addiction, all of those things.
Right.
Even things like that are mental addictions, pornography, things like that. Being healthier makes you want to have a healthier life. You know what I mean? And sometimes people with addictive personalities need something to substitute
Right.
for their addiction.
Yeah.
And what better thing than eating and living healthy?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I one of my closest friends is going through the same thing. She, she had an addiction, she broke it, and now she's, doing all kinds of exercise things, and she's like, I feel amazing, and it's like, it's so good to see, and I'm so happy for her to like have turned around, her life so dramatically, even from a year ago to where she's at now. It's like, it's incredible. Like, she's just like the poster child for, do this,
Yep.
get out there, exercise, and, it will, but that took effort on her.
Oh, absolutely
like
does.
it took an awful lot of strength, and determination, but it does happen. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah, I have too. I mean, you of course but our listeners might know. I grew up in an addict household.
Yes.
So I grew up with people from NA and AA, as part of my life, and the ones that relapsed less often, we'll say that, were the ones that had an outlet for that addictive personality trait.
Right.
Because it's there, so, again, whether it's smoking or something else, it's amazing if you go out and start running, that you don't want to smoke as much anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You can feel it affecting what you're doing and what your goals are. So it actually helps you to break some of those habits.
Right. Yeah.
So this is an interesting one, because we actually just talked to somebody who had this issue. It increases your fertility. Not that we must be the healthiest people ever, but yeah, we this past weekend we were with somebody who is trying to have kids, and the husband had to get healthy, lose weight, stop some of his habits, and that was the main advice that the doctor had given him. Like, his count was really low, and they said,
his count was non-existent.
Yeah,
and
get your butt healthy.
Yeah, he did. He stopped drinking and started eating a little bit better, and
started exercising, lost a lot of weight.
Now they're like on the turning the corner of having a baby. So it's great. It was like, that was an encouraging. I had no idea like that it affected.
I had no idea either.
I didn't. But lo and behold,
Yep.
So happy for them. Really, that's incredible.
But there are studies that, I mean, it's one of those things that if you're looking at a fertility doctor, they're going to look at your lifestyle and say, here's what you should change. And a lot of it's around what you eat and how much you exercise, getting healthy.
Well, the bad habits.
Yeah.
Get rid of
Other
those.
bad habits. Yes. So another thing is it boosts your self-esteem. When you start eating healthier, you feel better. You feel more confident.
Yeah.
It's just, does happen. Like, you start putting on some extra pounds, your self-esteem goes down, and it becomes this vicious cycle. Well, I might as well go out and eat another Whopper.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm on Whoppers, but
I
might as well go eat another ho-ho or something, but
I guess.
But yeah, when you start seeing the results of the healthy lifestyle, you start feeling better, your self-confidence, you start walking different, you start acting different. So, living that healthy lifestyle boosts your self-esteem.
Yeah, I mean, nobody feels good when you have to lay on the bed and, try and get your zipper up with a coat hanger. So,
Right.
It's not encouraging or uplifting to, not be able to fit into your jeans anymore and, have to wear leggings every day, which, listen, COVID hit hard and we all understand, but, it's time.
Yeah, and one of the things that I see a lot, because we do, we work with children and teenagers and stuff like that, and I do talks with high schools and stuff, but self-esteem in teenagers and even middle school, preteen, young teens, is at an all-time low, and as parents, if your children are not living a healthy lifestyle, if you're allowing them, again, if they live in your home and they live an unhealthy lifestyle, you are responsible for that, parents. I'm going to preach a little bit here, but you get to tell them to get out of bed. You get to tell them what to eat. You get to go on the grocery list. But if you're allowing that to happen, you're actually decreasing your child's self-esteem. They want to feel good about themselves. And if that unhealthy lifestyle will actually make their self-esteem go lower. So make them go out and start exercising with your kids.
Right.
Make them go for a walk. Make them go to the gym with you. Make them take an exercise class. Make them eat healthy. Stop going to McDonald's because it's easy and it's cheap or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So help your kids. But from the same thing from your side, you guys should be doing that together as a family. So
yeah, lead it by example.
Yeah,
too.
and that's actually my last point is that when you live a healthy lifestyle, you get to become an example to the people around you, to your family, to your children, all that stuff. Your people around you are watching, and especially when it comes to kids and teenagers and stuff like that. They are watching you. So if you have allowed yourself to get to the point where you are unhealthy or you're just not living the best lifestyle, it's time to change for your kids so that you're setting an example for them so that then they are, they're living that healthy lifestyle and they're going to live that life that you want for them. Right. I don't think anybody wants your kid to be, overweight, unhealthy, get into bad habits, have a ton of stress and things like that. I think we all want good things for our kids.
Right.
Sometimes we just need to force that issue and then we need to be a great example for them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you want good things for your kids. You don't want them to struggle with self-esteem, weight issues. Like, we had always said, I want to raise confident kids, and if everything's pointing back to that, like that, there's so much more, that feeds into raising a confident kid, someone who, I don't know, feels good about themselves, appreciates themselves and also thinks highly enough to not put up with, a lot of the nonsense that goes on in teenage worlds, so I don't know. It's all good stuff that comes from, setting a boundary and also like being an example for your kid.
Yeah, it's funny, just again, going back to the original point that I feel through this experience that health is one of the key things. Like it's impossible to get all of the other things right in your life if your health is so poor that you can't actually accomplish any of those things.
Right.
And parents, we've done it, hey, before you do anything else, you have to do your homework, or you have to do your homework for X amount of time per day, or you have to study for this much time. But how many parents are willing to say, you can't do anything until you go out and exercise for 20 minutes a day?
Yeah.
But what a change that would make in your kid.
Yeah, like your phone's going to sit here.
Yep.
Excuse me, your phone's going to sit here until, you're done going for, walking the dog or, getting out of the house and doing something. I don't know, go for a run, go for, whatever. Yep.
And, as you being a good example to the other people around you, get a group of people that are going to hold each other accountable. Apple Watch has that thing where you can see when people are exercising and stuff like that. And when I complete a workout or something, I have friends going, "Yeah, good job, way to go," and we do the same together. And find people that you can exercise with. Be a good example to each other, and have some accountability.
Yeah, and find something that you're interested in. It could be a huge variety of things. It doesn't have to be walking, running, whatever.
Boxing class is awesome.
Yeah, or something, anything.
Yep. So that's all we have for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you guys never have to go down for 3 weeks to finally realize that you should get healthy.
Yes.
Take it from me. You want to. Trust me, you want to. But we love you guys. If you think that there's some value that you got out of this, other people will think the same thing. So please share this. Let other people know. Like it. We really... we're only doing this to try to help other people. So do your part and share it and let other people know that they can live an extraordinary life as well. So that's all we have for this week. Check us out next week on the Dare to Be Different podcast.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Dare to Be Different podcast. If you got value from today's podcast, we encourage you to subscribe and share this podcast with a friend. To learn more about Joe, visit him online at joealtieri.com or follow him on social media at Joe Altieri. And we will see you on the next episode of the Dare to Be Different podcast.